Hulk vs. Superman, Aquaman vs. Namor, Flash vs. Quicksilver, Shazam vs. Thor, and oh so much more. This was an event that happened during the 90s, and so keep in mind, these are the 90s versions of those heroes. But I think I've talked too much. It's time for DC vs. Marvel. I hope you enjoy.
Our tale begins with Spider-Man swinging through the city of New York. He's happy because recently he had to deal with the entire clone saga, and it's left him wanting to get back to normal. You know, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But as usual, things can never go well for Spider-Man as he feels his spider sense going off, and down in an alley he sees a big box glowing and spewing light. The beams are dancing off of the walls and into the night, and Spider-Man knows that he should go down and check it out before it's too late. Except, it is already too late as he's hit with a beam full on. And poof! Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is gone. But the light is so bright that it attracts another person, a young man walking through the streets. He turns the alley to see the box glowing brightly, and he asks the man sleeping in the front of it with a hat if he's okay. He wakes up startled, then he puts his hands over the beams of light, pouring out, shouting, "It's too soon!" He turns to the boy, telling him, "I need your help!" The boy isn't quite sure what to do. This is kind of crazy as a glowing box, and this man is trying to contain it. Meanwhile, Spider-Man finds himself in a rainy city, a dark and gloomy city, and in front of him is a clown. A clown with green hair and a white face. And Spider-Man asks, "Where is he?" And the Joker replies with, "No, no, no, no! The question is, who are you?" Spider-Man stands up and the Joker tells him, "Well, Spider-Man, I presume, but it looks like you've changed tailors since our last tangle." Spider-Man is confused because this version of Spider-Man doesn't remember the last crossover, the Batman-Spider-Man crossover. He asks the Joker when the circus came to New York, and the Joker looks at him funnier than usual. "New York? Dear boy, this fair gem is Gotham, famed far and wide for its flying rodents and murderous disfigured psychopaths." Spider-Man asks him, "What's Gotham?" "Ha! That's rich. It reminds me of a joke. Actually, everything reminds me of a joke. But that's not the point. You're in Gotham. And if you don't know that much, then you have a serious reality problem." So Spider-Man looks at the Joker. "Okay, well then explain to me why there's a clown on the roof of this building." "Oh, this? I was thinking about blowing it up." "You're a riot. Look, something's pretty weird here and I'd like some questions answered. You haven't even told me who you are." So the Joker hands him a playing card and he leaps off at the side of the building using an umbrella to slow his descent. Spider-Man looks down to find the Joker playing card, asking, "Can someone tell me what's going on?" But over in Westchester, the X-Men are in a heated fight with the Juggernaut. Gambit, Storm, and Wolverine are all going to town fighting against him, and as Wolverine goes in for the big hit, the Juggernaut vanishes, and he suddenly punches a wall where Wolverine was. The Juggernaut looks around confused because he swears that he was just in the jungle and about to pummel Wolverine, and above him is a rather famous symbol, the Daily Planet. That's when a blur of blue comes down, hitting him hard, and there stands Superman, bullet and all. Back in the alley in New York, the man with the hat looks at the box, now covered in duct tape to stop it from breaking. He rubs his head, telling himself, "It should hold." And then another beam of light pokes through, and another, and another. He puts his hands up to stop it, and he realizes that he can't hold it back any longer. Meanwhile, at the Statue of Liberty, Captain America jumps in, blocking bullets from the Hydra agents. "You don't have enough heads to keep me down, Hydra." And the bullets bounce off of his shield. He kicks one, using the shield to drop another, and then a bright light engulfs him, and poof, he's gone. The Hydra agent in front of him asks where he even went. In another spot, Wonder Woman is holding up a bridge, keeping it from falling on a police officer. After wrapping up the bridge's metal to keep it in place, the light engulfs her, and poof, she's gone as well. Over in a field, the Hulk breaks a tree, shouting, "Hulk smash!" And Betty picks up the sticks, telling him to stop. "Don't do that, Bruce. It reminds me of the dark days for us." Hulk smiles. "Sorry, Betty. I'm certainly not the Hulk that I used to be. No more rampaging monster, and I got brains to boot. Plus, I have a beautiful wife at my side." Then the bright light grabs the Hulk, removing him, leaving Betty to ask, "What is it this time?" Over on a bright and sunny beach, Superboy is showing off his strength by lifting up two bikini girls at the exact same time. Unbelievable, right? Tana walks over yelling at him, and he tries to talk his way out of the situation that he just got himself into. But before he can, the bright light arrives, grabbing him and removing him. Out in space, Lobo is having his own fun running rampant on the aliens. Well, that is until he's also hit with the bright light, which removes him from his fight as he's shouting, "What the frag?" Then the alien is left thankful that he's alive. Meanwhile, at the Xavier School for the Gifted Youngsters, or whatever it is at this time period, the X-Men are left to wonder what that light was and where Juggernaut went. But before they can come to any conclusions, it engulfs Wolverine, Gambit, and Storm, as Gambit tells Beast, "This is the same light." Scott asks where they went, but Xavier answers the bigger question. Who's next? Across two universes, both completely different, yet so much is the same. Green Lantern, Elektra, Flash, Thor, Aquaman, Silver Surfer, Shazam, Submariner, Quicksilver, and Catwoman are all hit with the all-encompassing bright light. And then down in the Batcave, Batman is telling an intruder, "Whoever you are, I don't know how you got in here, but release the boy right now." That's when we see Bullseye has Tim Drake, the current Robin, hostage. Bullseye tells him, "Explain where I am and how I get out of here. And while you're at it, who are you?" Batman glares at him. "If you hurt that boy, I will be your worst nightmare. I'm Batman." Bullseye puts his knife underneath Tim's mask, cutting it. So Tim elbows him in the jaw, and as he's stunned, Batman throws a batarang at him. Except Bullseye catches it, throwing it right back. Luckily, to Bullseye's shock, Batman ducks it and knocks him out. As Bullseye falls, he tells Batman, "You hit harder than Daredevil." Batman tells Tim, "You didn't have to do that." And Tim tells him that he wasn't the one with the knife to his face. Then the bright light engulfs Tim and poof! Robin is gone. He finds himself in a young girl's room, specifically Jubilee of the X-Men's room. Her friend asks if she ordered a boy, and Jubilee says no, but I like his fashion sense. Back over in Metropolis, Superman flies into the Daily Planet, and as he enters, he meets his new chief, who quickly informs him that he is not some guy named Chief. He is J. Jonah Jameson. Perry White was fired. He looks at some interesting photos of Steel fighting some absorbing man, and then he begins to write his article. Because you see, the world is changing and everyone is aware. From kids to superheroes, people are appearing and disappearing all over. Clark is going to write an article about it because this must all add up to something. Fights are breaking out. New superheroes are fighting new supervillains. No one is even sure what's going on, and eventually the heroes will all have to meet. But at least right now they're just fighting the good fight. Steel versus the Absorbing Man was one, but we also have Green Lantern versus the Green Goblin, Captain America versus Bane, and Daredevil versus Riddler. Things get even more twisted with fights that we wished that we could see in full. Things like Batman versus Venom, Shazam versus Dr. Doom, Punisher versus Deathstroke, and Ghost Rider versus Etrigan. But misunderstandings are beginning to brew, like Firestorm and Martian Manhunter versus the Thing and the Human Torch. And friendships are starting to grow, like Hawkman teaming up with Angel. As Clark is putting the finishing touches on his article, Lois calls out to him to introduce him to the new photographer here at the Daily Planet, the one snapping all of the amazing photos. He tells Clark that his name is Ben Reilly, but his professional name is Peter Parker, and you should call him that from now on. And as Clark compliments him, Peter tells him that he's just in the right place at the right time. They shake hands and they smile at each other, because it looks like Peter Parker is the new photographer for Clark Kent, since Jimmy Olsen has moved on to bigger and better things. And out in deep space, the Spectre is trying to understand what's happening. This power is immense and greater than he. So what is this power that the Spectre can't even stop? And over in another universe, another ultra-powerful individual is asking the same question. The cosmic balance is tilting, and the will of the living tribunal can't stop it, because there are two beings out there, and they started a war for the very existence of two worlds.